Ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome to our talk show on parenting and personal growth. Today, we have a very special guest who has dedicated his life to helping parents navigate the challenges and joys of raising children. But before we bring him on stage, I want to take a moment to reflect on the importance of parenting and the incredible joy and the journey that each one and every one of us is a part of. Parenting is a role that comes with immense responsibilities, but it is also a journey that brings immeasurable love, joy, and growth. From the moment we hold our child in our arms, we embark on a path of discovery, learning, and transformation. We witness firsthand the power of unconditional love and the profound impact we can have on shaping the lives of our little ones. But let's be honest, parenting is not always easy. It comes with its own set of challenges and uncertainties. We often find ourselves questioning our choices, seeking guidance, and longing for support. That's where our guest, Mark Hopkins, comes in. Hi, Mark. How are
Hello,
you?
I'm really good, Abhishek, and you?
Welcome to the show, and thank you for being here. Right from the land of Barcelona to here with me in Bangalore, in the studio, virtual studio, you are welcome.
Thank you very much. Very excited about chatting to you.
Oh, yeah, even I am. So, guys, ladies and gentlemen, mothers and fathers, mamas and papas, and all our listeners over here, right now. Mark, let me introduce Mark a bit about from my side. Mark has devoted his life to helping parents navigate the ever changing landscape of modern parenting. His unique approach focuses not just on parenting techniques, but on empowering parents to be their best selves. He believes that by nurturing our own well being, we can create a harmonious environment for our children to thrive. Throughout his journey as a father and a professional, Mark has gathered a wealth of knowledge and experience. He understands the complexities of parenting in today's fast paced world, where both parents often juggle multiple roles and responsibilities. His insights, strategies, and personal anecdotes will inspire and guide us on our own parenting journey. So, without further ado, let's welcome everyone over here with a round of applause, maybe a virtual one. So let's welcome Mark Hopkins on the stage, to the stage, right here, right now. He's with us. His wisdom, compassion, and dedication are sure to ignite a spark within each one of us. Get ready for an enlightening and empowering conversation that will leave you with a renewed sense of purpose and a deeper understanding of the incredible role we play as parents. Please join me in giving a warm round of applause to our esteemed guest, Mark Hopkins. Mark, welcome to our show.
Sure, thanks for having me.
How are you doing and how are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling excited, energized, and also actually really hot because we're going through a heat wave here at the moment in Spain. So I'm glad for some fresh air.
Great. So, you are right now very close next, near to Barcelona, am I right?
That's it. Yep, beautiful
Great.
part of the world.
Lovely. Right. So, we're going to have a very interesting conversation with our special guest today, which is Mark Hopkins. Mark is an inspiring parenting expert who believes in focusing on the parent as a person. And this line of your introduction, just touched my heart like anything. It's an amazing thing. You have given a very different perspective, Mark, that focusing on parent as a person and not just as a parent. With with Mark's extensive background in psychology, sports psychology, and coaching, Mark brings a unique perspective to parenting. He understands the challenges of modern parenting and offer valuable insights on how to create a calm and stress-free environment for both parents and children. So let's get into the conversation and discover wisdom from the horse's mouth himself. Well, good morning once again, and thank you for being here today with me. I am Dr. Abhishek Pasari from India, and you are from Barcelona. I would say you do not belong to one place because, as much I could understand about you, you have been traveling 40 countries so far. I mean, like the list is long, right?
This is long.
Holland, Spain, Europe, UK, Vietnam, South Africa. And by the way, you have also been in India as a coach for men's hockey team representing South Africa. That was something great. It was into 2018, right?
That's it. Yeah, in Bhubaneswar. It's a great experience.
Wow, great. So can you tell us more about why you believe focusing on the parent as a person is so important?
Yeah, I think very often we all know that our identity is the thing that really drives us. And too often we abdicate our identity to what we do, which is a parent, versus who we are. And I think it's really, really important because unless we actually own our own identity, we forget that we are mirrors to our children. And that if we are not demonstrating the morals and the values that we believe on a regular basis, then our kids are going to pick up on it. And most importantly, we need to teach them how to live in this world. And the best way to teach them is not through words, it's through actions. So for me, it's really, really important that we need to focus on our happiness. A lot of times I hear parents say, but I need to put the kids first. It's like, well, in some situations, yes, you need to protect your kids. But again, by putting your kids first, what message are you giving your kids? What you're basically telling is that everybody else's needs is more important than my own. And if you fast forward 10, 15, 20 years, then what kind of child is that person going to develop into? They're going to develop into somebody who's not in touch with their needs, not in touch with their wants, not able to communicate what's important to themselves. So for me, it's really important that we treat people as human beings. You're not a parent, Abhishek, you're Abhishek. You know, you are a parent to 3 incredible children, but first and foremost, you are your own very special human being that we love, nurture, and care for. And I think all of us need to be very, very clear about who we are first, not what we are.
That's so interesting. And really, it is very simple, easy, but it is deep and impactful. That yes, before being a father, you are yourself first, you know. So as an individual, it is all about taking care of ourselves first, so we can be the best version of ourselves for our children. Am I right?
100%, because how we show up is what our children observe. So if we
Yes.
show up distracted, then we're sending our message to our kids that actually other things are more important. If we show up always miserable and happy, then we're sending out a message. If we're showing up tired, it means that possibly we're not looking after ourselves well enough. So every action that we demonstrate does 2 things. One, it tells a story to our children. And 2, behind every action is an emotion. And too often we hide behind these actions and not communicate what our emotions are. So for me, it's not about, I think we have this great phrase of showing up as the best version of ourselves. I always like to add something at the end of that, which is in whatever guise that looks like. Because it's really important that we don't strive to be something that's fake, because we can only fake something for a short period of time before we get caught out. We've got to be true to who we are. So let's
Yeah.
show up as the best version of ourselves in who we want to be at that time. There's nothing wrong showing up tired, but going, I'm tired because.
That's a powerful perspective, Mark. Your personal experiences as a dad have surely shaped your understanding of parenting. Can you share with us how your journey as a father has influenced your approach?
Yes, the journey's been filled with, as most parents, lots of highs and lots of lows. Um, my parenting journey started off with a very difficult birth of my son, who was actually stillborn, resuscitated, rushed to hospital, which was quite a traumatic birth story. And we were told that he was the only sense he was going to have was sound. but over the first 18, 24 months, he developed and he's now 14 years old, 6'4", and an incredible athlete, and a great human being. So he's grown. But my journey also, unfortunately, had the loss of two children. So you develop that bond, and then I had my child, and through grief, I put a lot of stress on my child. And I think as a father, we're very, very quick to think that we have all the answers. But what I've learned very, very quickly is my son actually gives me more answers than I'm able to give him. And one of the most beautiful times, which really was, it was beautiful as I look back at it, but it felt like Mike Tyson punched me on the nose when it happened, was him and I were at the beach and we were throwing a tennis ball playing catch at the beach. He must have been about 8 at the time. And he goes to me and he goes, "Dad, what time is it?" And I was like, "Seth, I've got no idea. I haven't got a watch on." And he goes, well, check your phone. And I was like, "Seth, I don't have my phone on me. This is just you and me time." And a tear just came down his cheek as he realized that he had his dad 100% to himself and no one could distract us. And from that moment, I realized two things as a parent. Firstly, that we are so disconnected as parents because we are on the go 24/7. Everyone is trying to get hold of us, that we're doing our children a massive disservice. And the second thing taught me was that our children are so much more perceptive than we give them credit for. And if we actually stop and truly listen to what they're saying to us, we will know how to become the very, very best parent. Because to be honest, a lot of parents are quite arrogant. We think we know best. We're the adult, they're the child, and therefore they've got to do what we say. What I've learned is the better questions that I ask my son, the more insights I get about the kind of parent that is going to enable him to be the very best version of himself in whatever guise that he wants to be. So that's sort of been my parenting journey. It's been challenging, eye-opening, things that I've gone through which I wouldn't wish on anybody, things that I have gone through which have fundamentally shaped who I am. I think one thing that every parent we should always remember is times are tough. Being parent is not an easy job. And there are times when as a parent we're going, just give me a break. When you're at that stage, you've got so much more inside of you. You've got so much more strength inside of you to be the very best version that you want to be whenever you want to be. And always recognize that the strength you have inside you is the thing that gets you through any challenge.
Very true. I totally agree and resonate with you that a lot of people today also, Mark, take parenting as a very easy thing. And if they come across a parenting coach, they feel offended that, oh, do you think we need to take a parenting training? We don't need a parenting coaching for sake. But it is very true that a small, suppose this AC air conditioner remote control, when you are setting up a air conditioner, it's not a big deal. It's a machine. You just have to clamp it and fix it and put a plug. But it comes with a manual. Every machine comes with a manual, be it a small or a bigger one. And when you have a child, we don't have a manual how to raise a child. In fact, we don't have a manual that how to grow with your child. Your child is growing every day, every month. But as a parent, are you growing with them or not? So yes, parenting is not at all easy. It is a responsible assignment, and you have to deal these things very sincerely. And because your reflection you can see in your children, as you said, the mirror. So they are your reflection. They are your uh, shadow, basically. So these lessons have profoundly impacted your relationship with your son, I'm sure, and your approach to parenting as a whole. His journey, his birth, and the traumatic start and whatnot, right? So it's incredible, Mark, how personal experiences can shape our understanding of parenting, right? Well, with your expertise and life experiences, what advice do you have for parents who struggle with maintaining a work-life balance? This is what I want to ask you.
Cool. Well, first and foremost, I do not believe in work-life balance. I think it is a complete myth. And I think anyone who chases a work-life balance is setting themselves up for one thing in life, which is something that I don't wish on any person, which is compromise. Because how I look at a work-life balance, I imagine it like a seesaw. I don't know about you, Abhishek. When I was a kid, I used to stand in the middle of the seesaw and I'd try and balance the seesaw horizontally. And if I literally moved one side, the whole thing would collapse. And that for me is exactly what work-life balance is. You're literally got two ends of the seesaw, which is work and life, and you're trying to stand in the middle and you're trying to keep this thing in balance. And it's just a pointless waste of time where you're just going to compromise. So I believe very strongly in, we have 5 relationships of life. And these 5 relationships of life are our relationship with ourself, which is the most important relationship that we have. We have a relationship that most of us forget and are really bad at, which is our relationship with time. Like, how do we actually utilize the time that we have? We just let time drift and we let things happen to us all the time. The third relationship we have is our relationship with wealth, which is how do we earn and spend money? Because we spend a lot of time at work, therefore we need to understand that. We have a relationship with health, because let's all be honest, we want to be healthy and live a long, happy life. And we have a relationship with others, which includes kids, family, friends. We have these 5 relationships of life.
Wow.
And I believe that, and this goes back to my story about Seth and the beach, is I don't believe that we should be in work-life balance mode. I think we should be in tilting mode. And I think we should be really honest with ourselves that when we are working, we give work 100% of our attention. When we are with our family, we are giving our family 100% of our attention. Because what happens is we go to our family time, but our brain's still going work time. But yet we're not as productive because we're distracted. So I believe very much in tilting. So I don't believe in a work-life balance. I think you're living a life of regrets and compromise if you start balancing things out. Because a balance for me is 50, 51%. Now, I don't want to live my life at 50, 51%. I want to live my life at 100%. So when I'm at work, I'm 100% focused on work. When I'm with my son, I'm 100% focused on my son. Now, it doesn't mean that I can't do both, but I can communicate to my son. So what I do when I'm playing with him is I'll go, Seth, just to let you know, I have one work call that I have to take. So if this person phones, I am going to take the call. Otherwise, we're 100% you and me. My phone will ring and I'll look at it and you go, Dad, is that the call? It's like, no. So we carry on playing. So it's about being really clear and communicating in those 5 relationships of life. So yeah, anyone, stop chasing work-life balance unless you want to live your life to compromise. That's my advice.
Wow. Boom.
Fist bumper.
Right. Great. Even I believe, like this work-life balance is, if I put up my ideology on this thing, so I always say that so this term needs repair. It cannot be a work-life balance. If it has to be, it should be life-work balance. If it has to be. But you have given a very wonderful approach that is, given an example of with a seesaw and in the middle of it, balancing both the things is not possible. Or a lot of people, what happens in the name of work life balance, they give priority to work so much that life becomes secondary. I always say that it has to be, if it has to be, it has to be life work balance, because you have a life and work is just a part of a life, right? As you said, like suppose your working hours are 10 to 5. So the moment you are back home with your kids, with your children, with your family, so after 5, there has to be limitation to your work calls, to your work assignments, to your work mode. Then only you can live the both the lives 100% and fully. Well, you have given a very wonderful approach, by giving those 5 areas, Mark. It is something really understanding and interesting as well. So let us wrap up this conversation with what message do you have for our viewers, particularly for fathers navigating their parenting journey?
So I think like it's a couple of things. One is I believe that we've got to focus on happiness, right? So we do a lot of work around raising happy parents, because we talk about raising happy kids, but how can we raise a happy kids if we can't look after ourselves and be happy? So first and foremost, you've really got to keep your happiness bucket topped up. It does. focusing on yourself is not being selfish. Focusing on
Yeah.
yourself is ensuring that you're in the right place to be the best parent you can possibly be. Because if you are not in a good and happy space, then you are going to be a very average parent for your kids, and your kids are going to pick it up, and they're going to look at you and go, Dad, are you really truly happy? And we don't want to lie to our kids. That's the first thing. The second thing, and ABhishek, you talked about this earlier about growth. Like everyone believes the opposite of happiness is sadness. Now, I don't believe that. I don't believe the opposite of happiness is sadness. What I believe the opposite of happiness is boredom. And in order to
Yeah.
ensure that we're not bored, we need to be curious. So my advice to every single parent is to never stop being curious. Never stop being curious about the environment you live in, the community you live in. Never stop being curious about the person that you want to be. And most importantly, never stop being curious about the child that you're raising. The moment you stop being curious about those things is the moment that things start to unravel a little bit. And we have a massive responsibility. And my biggest fear is that I'm going to be in 30 years' time, a 74-year-old and moaning about the state of the world because the generation of our kids, your 15-year-old, my 14-year-old, that we haven't done a good enough job in empowering them and making them be the adults that we know they can be so they can lead the world. Because let's be honest, the world needs as many good people in as possible to ensure that we have an exciting future ahead. And that's all our responsibilities. So be curious is probably my number one message. And so number one and number two, never forget to be happy yourself.
That's so interesting. One has to be very curious because that is the way, that is basically a quest to learn, if you're curious. Because I always believe that children are born with two God gifts. One, they see their parents as God only till the age of 9, 10, or 11. Why? Because by the 9, 10, 11, they start seeing the outer world. And what starts missing out is parents start missing out on their thoughts, words, and actions. They're not consistent. So, gradually, slowly, smoothly, or step by step, children start losing trust from parents. So, I always say to parents that what you say, that you do, or you do what you have said. You be truthful with your children, they will always trust you to the core of their heart. Number one. And the second gift every child is born with is infinite curiosity. And this is how they learn the outer world, just like a chemistry lab, right? So it was so lovely and great. I want to know one more personal question for on behalf of everyone uh, worldwide, dad's community. If I speak on that behalf, you are a single father raising a child. He is 14 years, your son. What are the challenges, or do you feel any challenges raising a child being a father? Because we have seen many stories and many cover stories of single moms and doing great job and great things. But I want to encounter with you or understand the real challenges as a single father, if you come across or if you have faced ever, or do
Uh,
you face?
yeah, I think the challenge is, I think it's single dad, but also I think it's generic as a dad. Um, I think it's about that we've gone through such a massive change in the last 20 years. So the world's changed, and yet our DNA and our hormones, we've got to catch up. So we're challenged now to be everything, right? So if I go back to our parents' generation, all they did was work, put food on the table, and paid for school fees. That was their job. That was their role. Our
Yes.
role as dads now, ABhishek, is completely different. We have to play every single role, which is brilliant. It's and also mums roles. When I was growing up, my mum stayed at home and brought the kids up, and now economy and everything changes where mums roles have to completely change. So we're going through this change where both parents, mums and dads, are fundamentally having to be different people, and we're also stepping on each other's toes, which I think is causing quite a lot of challenges in relationships. So I think my advice a lot about it is boundaries are really, really important. Don't be scared of being boundaries. Don't be scared of playing different roles at different times, but be really clear about communicating what role you're playing at what time. I think that's really, really important. Remembering that as a parent, we are in the long-term game with a very, very small feedback window. So again, it's really, really important that you understand that saying no in the short term might be painful, but in the long term adds benefits. And recognize and don't beat yourself up. My favorite mantra I say to myself as a single dad is, I'm not perfect and it's okay. We strive to
Yes,
be perfection, but I'm very, very honest to say I'm nowhere near a perfect dad at all. And I'm okay. I'm just doing the best I can be with, like you said, a manual that doesn't really exist apart from my personal manual, which is Mark, always be curious. That's my manual. So yeah, those that
ah, cool.
would be my advice.
That's cool. Cool. So now is a time to get into a rapid fire. As we have Mark with us on stage, so he has no choice, but he has to come up with us. So let's lighten up the mood a little bit in between of our conversation and have some fun with a rapid fire right from a man who is very close or who is actually right now with us from Barcelona. So rapid fire round on parenting and fathers. Are you ready, Mark?
Bring it on.
Oh, bring it on. It's a latest dialogue from a Salman Khan movie. He says, "Bring it on."
With the fingers though.
Cool. Yeah, cool. So, all right. So here we go. Quick answers, okay? No overthinking. Ready? So let me come closer. And what's the silliest dad joke you have ever told your child?
Oh, well, it's the one that gets told to me. It's like, what's he say? He says, he goes, yeah, Dad, you've got no girlfriends. And then he always responds to me with, well, have you seen your face recently? It's like, seriously, boy, that's just quite harsh. So that's probably the one that we abuse each other a little bit around.
Okay, cool. So if I speak about me, uh, one day I said to my boys, why don't skeletons fight with each other? Because they don't have the guts,
Okay.
right?
uh,
So it was fun. Okay, what's your go-to parenting dance move?
Definitely staying alive.
Okay, love it. What is the most creative excuse you have come up with to get out of say, changing a diaper if I take you 14 years back?
That I need to go and resuscitate my pet dolphin.
Okay, cool. So, what is the weirdest food combination your child has ever requested you, if you can remember?
When he was younger, he wanted oysters with honey.
Oh, cool. I'll tell you my one. So, one time, one of my boy, among the two, I have three. So, two are boys and one is girl. So, my son says, I need peanut butter with pickle sandwich,
That's a nice one.
right? So, well, uh, so I always say, no, interesting choice. I have no other options. So experience yourself, your wish. Your wish is my command. I'll just play like a genie. Okay, Mark. So what's the secret superpower when it comes to getting your child to eat their veggies when he was young?
He wants to be a professional football player. So I always say, what do you think a professional football player would do?
Oh, cool. So that's a positive affirmation or a push to be given, right?
Exactly.
Positive motivation. You are a coach, you know all the tricks to pep up the boys. Cool. So that is a stealth mode activated. Cool. Now, if you could invent a parenting gadget, Mark, what would it be?
Oh, this is a good one. Probably to make, instead of my son taking 15 minutes to get ready when it takes him 30 seconds, probably that one, or that he puts his school clothes away every day, a little button, maybe electric shock therapy. If he doesn't do it, we can zap him.
Okay, cool. That was a really inventive one, right? So I have a daughter who is 4.5. So if I think quickly, so I would say uh, the sippy cup finder could be my innovation gadget,
Good one.
which magically locates missing sippy cups within a 5 mile radius, for example.
Very
Okay,
important.
yeah. So, anyways, so that would be a game changer, if such type of innovations and gadgets, if we both can work on and seriously, get into this 2023. for
Right.
people, so they would be really grateful for us, and we would be happy to drop some legacy behind us, right?
There you go. Exactly.
Well, jokes apart. So finally, the what is the funniest parenting mishap you have had?
Funniest parenting mishap. Um, well, probably my first diaper, putting it on back to front while my son was going to the toilet.
This is crazy. I guess this is very common with many dads. Even I did one or two times, I then I realized after a lot of time, after a gap of time that, oh, this sticker means this is the front side and this is the this is the back side,
Yeah.
right?
The
Wow.
problem is, when there's no panic, you can work it out. But literally, you're panicking, and it's just like all your common
Exactly.
sense goes out the window. Anyway,
Yeah. I
you
mean, like
learn.
that moment, you feel that you need to enroll for a, like what do you say, that disaster management course.
Oh, I was going for a PhD. It's PhD in natural parenting.
Exactly. Well, so thank you, Mark, for participating in our rapid fire round, and it has been a great one to be here on this stage and having fun with you. Now, since you have definitely brought some laughter and lightness to the show, so stay tuned, everybody, over here. We delve deeper into the world of parenting and fatherhood with our insightful discussion. We will be uncovering more valuable insights and anecdotes from Mark Hopkins. So don't go anywhere. We still have some more time with us. Well, Mark, as a special surprise for our esteemed guest, which is you, Mark Hopkins, we have a hilarious gift hamper that will surely make you chuckle. Okay? So brace yourself for this comical treat. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Cool. So if I have to give you a gift hamper, so it is, like I'm giving you a gift hamper on this rapid fire show, and that is a free entry to worldwide Starbucks cafe and a free Wi-Fi access so that you can enjoy the ambience of Starbucks anywhere if you are a coffee lover, right? And and just this is a gift from our side. But mind you, I just said free entry. Coffee is one thing which you have to purchase. Okay, so so this is a small gift we are giving, being on our rapid fire pro champion with us over here. Well, so some more questions I have for you. Uh, as a coach, former hockey coach, you have been into football, cricket, cycling, so we would love to hear your perspective on how the game, say for example football, how the game of football can relate to parenting and your role as a single dad. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
So tell me, in football, teamwork and communications are essential for success on the field, right?
Yep.
That is essential, correct?
Yeah, definitely.
So, how do you incorporate these principles into your parenting style and foster a strong bond with your child as a single dad? Just can
So
you connect and relate?
yeah, a couple of things. One is, especially as a coach, you have to understand what communication is actually about. Communication is not about you demonstrating how clever you are. Good communication is about transferring knowledge so the person you're talking to actually understands what you're asking to do. And that's something that as parents we get wrong. And you mentioned this earlier about the two things about curiosity. Is as a parent, we have to speak the language that our child understands, not the language that we understand. So,
Yes.
that's really, really important. Teamwork, what's really, really important is we understand that in a team, like let's say you have a goalkeeper who's absolutely brilliant. You are not going to play the goalkeeper as a striker. You're going to play the goalkeeper in goal because that's where their expertise is. And we have to
Yeah.
understand that in parenting and kids, there's things that we're really good at and there's things that we're not very good at. Don't try and be good at everything. There's nothing wrong with actually saying, look, I'm really good at cooking, but I'm not really good at cleaning. So let's just tag team. So I think teamwork is really, really important, but understanding that we have areas of expertise and communicate at the level of the person you're talking to not communicate the words that you wanted to convey.
Lovely. I guess, just like uh, a team on any field, we rely on each other and build a strong connection based on trust and collaboration, right? So that's a great approach, Mark. Now let's talk about resilience.
Yep.
Say in football, hockey, players face setbacks and learn to bounce back. So how do you teach resilience to your child or to your clients who come to you and help them overcome obstacles in life?
So first thing is we've got to get comfortable with failure. So
Yeah,
one thing that I do to my son is once a week I ask him a question, which is, what's the thing that you failed at this week? Not to encourage him to make him feel sad, but to go, actually, it's okay to fail at something because that's the only way that we grow. So I think it's really, really important that we make failure something that's safe, something that people feel comfortable doing. And again, it's not about being reckless and stupid. It's just ensuring that we're actually pushing ourselves, because if we're not, we're never going to innovate as a child. So I think that's really important. Two is to be really consistent with your messaging. Now, if you're going to say, look, I want you to grow and try something and it's safe, well, if it fails, you can't then be the angry, aggressive and upset parent, because then it doesn't go hand in hand. So to build trust, you've got to be consistent with
yeah,
yourself. And the final thing around resilience, and I think it ties into a sporting analogy, is imagine playing a game of football without rules, without goals, and without sidelines and lines on the pitch. It would be chaos. And
yeah,
that's something that we've got to remember as parents, is we have to put rules and boundaries in place. It's not saying no is not being a bad parent. Saying no is actually being a really, really good parent, because you're teaching your child that they've got to push against something and that thing doesn't move. So, and that teaches them resilience, because they've got to learn how to deal with the word no. And I think, especially in today's society, we are very, very scared of saying no to our children, because we don't actually know how to deal with their reaction to their no. We're so embarrassed by that
yeah.
our kids going to have a temper tantrum or going to play up, that we actually give in too easily. And I think that's something that, as a coach, if I said yes to all my athletes all the time, then jeepers, we wouldn't have achieved anything, because in any at that level elite sport, I'm dealing with 18 massive egos who all want to be the big cheese. And my
Yeah.
job as the head coach is to mold them into a team that we're as successful as possible. And that's your job as a parent as well, is to
Yeah,
put the boundaries in place to mold your child.
that's interesting. I also agree with you that people, the parents rather, we would say, have taken the meaning of no in a very wrong manner. When you say no, it doesn't mean that it's a part of a bad parenting. You said very rightly. So it is all about setting up boundaries or making your children clear about certain things, or giving that you are very clear about certain areas, right? Well, by teaching them to face adversity head on, we instill the belief that they have the strength and determination to overcome any obstacle that comes their way. Well, wonderful insights, Mark, on the football side as well. So, lastly, in football, one more thing: football, hockey, either wise, on the field, there are moments of celebration and joy when a goal is scored, right?
Yep.
So, how do you create joyful and memorable moments with your son as a single father? And how do you celebrate his achievement?
So firstly, I think too often as well, we feel as parents that we have to set the goals and the targets and the success things for our children. So for example, my son's just going through his exams at the moment. So I ask him like two things, like, how much studying do you want to do in order to get the result that you want to get? So if he wants to push for an A, then he's got to understand what kind of work he's going to put in order to do it. And again, listeners will be going, but then you're allowing your kid to make up the rules. Like, no, I'm still saying, do you think that is stretching you enough? Do you think you could achieve more? Do you think? So I get him to articulate what he thinks is there. And if I don't agree that he's stretching, if he says, well, Dad, I want to see, I'm going, okay, cool. But what do you think that C is going to give you? And then he's going to go, well, so do you think a C is actually what you should be aiming for? He's like, actually, no, Dad, I think I should be aiming higher. Okay, cool. What do you want to aim for? So for me, again, it's all about input motivation rather than output. I think we put so much emphasis on grades and output stuff
Yeah.
where we actually forget that a grade is just a moment of time, but the journey to get to the grade is a lot more important, that we should focus on inputs rather than outputs. So I challenge my son on the input stuff, but I get him to own the things that are important to him and I guide him on that journey.
That's great. So thank you, Mark, for sharing your unique insights on how hockey, football, and parenting intervene, and your perspective as a single dad, as a coach, sports coach, as a parenting coach, and adds a whole new dimension to understanding, of parenting. We appreciate your time and expertise, Mark, over here, giving us the valuable time in the early morning at your clock, at your side. We wish you continued success in your journey as a parent and coach. And to our viewers, remember to follow Mark for more incredible insights. Let me put up his details over here where you can find him. This is his website, and he is also running a Facebook group community that is raising happy parents. So do join, check him, and his website is pretty interesting and very neat and clean. The way his approach and his thoughts ideas are. Go and check this out, and you will be finding very interesting options to go and check it up. To all our viewers, remember, please follow Mark for more incredible insights and support. Have a fantastic day. We are thrilled as we already given you 1 year free entry to Starbucks, accompanied by, accompanied by convenience of unlimited Wi-Fi access.
So
So,
kind.
yeah, I mean, like, picture this, you can enjoy the cozy ambience, catch up on emails, and browse the internet to your heart's content. But here's the twist that the entry is on us, coffee is on you, right? So jokes apart. So Marx gets set ready to savor countless moments of laughter, relaxation, and of course the aroma of freshly brewed coffee wherever you go. Now, whenever you're going to have order a coffee, you will remember Abhishek as well, right? So this is what it is all about. That life is very easy, and we should always enjoy life the way it comes to us. So I always feel there's a very beautiful movie, Life is Beautiful. It's one of the movie which I suggest in my parenting classes to my people, that if you have to watch a movie, one movie to pick up should be Life is Beautiful. Well, everybody watching us over here, thank you very much for sharing your valuable insights. Anything, any comments, if you feel wish to write in the comments. Mark would be happy to answer or see them later. Firstly, what do you think, if I have to ask a few last questions before we end up, Mark, that I already have some questions with me from my uh, close running current batch. So they asked me to put a question to you, that what do you think the role of father in today's parenting landscape can be defined in short?
uh, Multifaceted, present, and showing how to be the best version of yourself in whatever guise you want to be.
Wow. Well, with these questions, I'm actually wrapping up the show, guys. So just countdown has already started. You said very rightly, absolutely, Mark. Now, parenting has undoubtedly evolved over the years. How do you see parenting with Gen Alpha? And what are some key differences compared to previous generations, like what you were talking, when that our parents and us. So, what is the difference you see with the Gen Alpha parenting?
Obviously, we're having to deal with social media and phones a lot differently, and I think that's causing a lot of challenges for parents.
Yeah,
And I think how to keep the sense of family unity and community, because I think with technology we become very fragmented. One person goes into one room on their phone, onto the other room, and I think we've got to hold true to some really important traditions like eating together with phones off. So I think we need to go back to the core and remember
yeah,
what is truly important and what family actually means, and hold on to that very tightly.
very true. Well, so this enlightening talk show, early morning, this fresh morning with Mark Hopkins, we hope all people who watched us or watching us or will be watching this video later, here or there at Barcelona or anywhere among the 40 countries where Mark fans and people live, right? So we hope you gained valuable insights into parenting, resilience, and creating joyful moment with your children. Remember, just like in football, hockey, or any sports, parenting requires teamwork, resilience, and celebration. Stay tuned for more inspiring conversations and follow Dr. Abhishek Pasari for ongoing guidance. We will keep coming with some of the other guests from around the world and will present the perspective of their parenting and their role as a parent. Until next time, take care and keep building those beautiful parent child connections. This is what is important in life. Rest all is just a you know coming and going. So, well, thank you, Mark, for sharing your valuable insights on parenting, the role of father, and the unique challenges and opportunities of raising Gen Alpha. Your advice on self-care, open communication, positive parenting mindset, the five things to be done in life will undoubtedly resonate with our viewers. Remember, parenting is a journey of continuous learning and growth. Embrace each moment with love and understanding. We hope you found this talk show enlightening. And don't forget, guys, Mark and Abhishek to follow both of us, right? For ongoing support and guidance. We are here to help you out. And as Mark says, raising happy parents. So we are here to raising happy parents, empowering parents. So we both are ready and we both say, bring it on, right? So, wishing you all a wonderful day filled with joy and meaningful connections with your children. Until next time, take care and keep nurturing those beautiful parent child bond. Thank you.